gals, the fillies will be lining up in the fantasy stakes this weekend at Oaklawn Park, and it's going to give some of these fillies a chance to get into the Kentucky Oaks. Alexa, last year, the winner of this race, Torpedo Anna, won the Kentucky Oaks. She won the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and she became the horse of the year last year. She actually just made her debut for 2025, a winning one. So it shows you that this race can really spark an awesome filly, a really nice horse, and can make you a major player going into the Kentucky Oaks.
Absolutely. I mean, Torpedo Anna, I don't think it mattered where she was going to run. She was just a champion. But this is still a good path to the Derby. And this race, Derby aside, $750,000 on the line.
See, I think that's been the key for them over the last couple of years, because you're hitting on that. These are races that a lot of trainers and jockeys and owners are thinking about as a stepping stone to the Derby or the Oaks. But when Oaklawn is putting up this much money, like, you winning these races is almost as good as winning the Oaks and the Derby. So these big horses go out there seeing, okay, I'll win this race and I'll be in great shape moving into the Oaks. Let's meet the field.
We've talked in like prior videos about, trainer intention on maybe not spending their horse like all their energy because they want to save it for the Derby. But this weekend, I don't think that's the case. I think everybody wants to win these because the purses are just too big.
That exactly, right? When the money is that big, you go for the gold.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if we can lead you in the right direction here in the fantasy. Take Charge, my lady. What do we think about the number one here? Take Charge, my lady, who was disappointing last time out, but she was really impressive winning the Martha Washington a couple starts back. And she was a bit unlucky in her last race. She got kind of trapped behind horses and didn't really have much of a chance in there.
Yeah, I like Take Charge, my lady. You know, she has 20 points on the board already for the Oaks. And yeah, she did not get the position she wanted last out. Got caught too far back, sitting in like 12th, last place, 12 lengths off the lead. She does get a new jockey today with Brian Hernandez taking them out. And I think you can forgive that last effort with the trouble. And if you do that, then I think she looks really good. She has 2 wins this year over the Oaklawn track. With improving form. So I think she is one you can absolutely play.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think she's going to get a really nice trip. I think they're going to try to make sure they keep her out of trouble if possible, and maybe get her into the race a little earlier on, sitting closer. And a shout out to producer Mike, who's a fan of Silicon Valley there. California Sunset is stakes placed, came off of a 3rd place finish last time out. She does feel like she's kind of a cut below this group though, Alexa. What do you think about her chances?
Yeah, she just isn't improving like I think you need to be at this point to be competitive with this field. So I'm discounting her in here.
And Kinsey Queen, same sort of thing. Kinsey Queen was in front of California Sunset last time out. I don't have any problems with them overall. I just think this is a pretty tough spot for them, and they're going to have to get a lot faster than they've been running recently.
Completely agree with you. It's just too big of an ask at this stage.
Princess M2 is a bit interesting. This is a horse who had some early traffic to deal with last time out. She was favored, but I could maybe make an excuse for that last race. Even in doing so, she's going to have to get faster. She's going to have to run better races than she's run previously. Make a case for Princess M2 if you can.
Look, she's a homebred by, actually, if you tune into any of our NHC coverage of the National Horse Players Championship, homebred by player Evan Trommer, who I've cursed his name many a time because he's a really good horse player and has beat me. But so I think they have really high hopes for her. They want to see if she can rise to the occasion. But I'm going to wait and watch and root for her because of the connections. But I think this is a tough placing.
Number 5, Quiet Side, is super honest, and she finally got her big win, Alexa. She had been knocking on the door. She had been finishing underneath in 2nd and 3rd in a lot of spots, but she got a great trip. She sat 2nd, and she was able to win, and she won at 10-1. She won't be as big of a price here, but she's equally as big of a player in this race.
Definitely. I think she's the current Oaks leaderboard leader with 68 points. Morning Line 2nd favorite behind Simply Joking. But she won the Honeybee with her lifetime best performance, has over $500,000 in earnings. She's been training really well at Oaklawn. And this distance and track is a really comfortable spot. So of the favorites, I like Quiet Side more.
Yeah, I agree. And she just beat a horse named 5G. If that sounds familiar, we actually just talked about 5G when we previewed the Gulfstream Park Oaks earlier on in one of our segments. So Necessity was fourth behind Quiet Side in the Honeybee. I liked her a little bit in that spot, Alexa. She ran fine, but she's another one who just is not quite up on the top tier of contenders here. I think she's going to have to get faster, and she's kind of a deeper closer. Can you make a case for this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest shift for her in here is that they're taking the blinkers off, and that's a move
Yep.
that trainer Norm Cassie is pretty successful with. So I don't think it'd be crazy to include her underneath at the value that she brings, but definitely underneath not to win.
Simply Joking goes next. She's 2 for 2, so we can't really knock what she's done in her 2 races. My main concern is that we haven't seen her in over 2 months now, almost 2.5 months. And so when you come into a race like this, you want to be coming in on your best form, firing on all cylinders. You can see that she wins a race in the Silver Bullet Day and then just time off. Now, she's beat some nice horses. She beat horses like Bless the Broken and Drexel Hill. They came back to win the Busher at Aqueduct and the Bourbon at Oaks. Do you think she fits with this group?
I mean, I think she's a weak favorite, to be honest. Like, yes, Bless the Broken came back to win the Bourbon at Oaks, but I don't think that was like a super difficult field necessarily.
Yep.
And, she's a cheap horse in the sense that she sold less than her stud fee and she's coming off a layoff. So I think, the biggest plus in here is if she does get the lone speed angle where she just gets to the front and wires it. But I think she's beatable.
I had a tough time making a case for Baytown Butterfly, who won the debut going 4.5 furlongs, but is 0 for 8 since. Can you make a case for her?
No.
Yeah. Princess Aaliyah, though, she had a really nice win last time out. She had kind of put it all together, and she's very fast early. So I could see versions of this race, Alexa, when we're looking at the projector where she's forwardly placed. I could see her being one of the horses in the mix early and maybe hanging around for a share at a little bit of a price. Do you think she can kind of sing her tune in this one?
I do. I like her. I've used her as my third selection in here. I think, she broke her maiden last out with a little bit of moisture in the dirt. I need to check. I think there could be some rain in the forecast. But she's improving, and this is a big step, but I could see her be a factor at long odds.
And then on the outside, running and gunning. I love the connections. It's Steve Asmussen and Flavian Pratt, but I think she's just going to have to improve a lot to get competitive with this group. Do you give her a chance at all?
No, I'm passing on her as well. I agree with you, Gino.
So as we move to selections for this one, we see a lot of the same numbers, Alexa, just in slightly different order. And we can talk more about how we're going to wager on some of these races at Oaklawn Park when we return from a quick break. So for Alexa, 5197. I went 1795. When we return, we'll give you our best bets for Saturday over at Oaklawn Park.